He pursued me relentlessly over and over again, and I would say, cool, thanks, and just carry on and do my own thing, and then I'd start performing again. I'm Sarah Bradley. I'm from New Zealand. I moved here to Tulsa a year ago to become the assistant women's golf coach at the University of Tulsa. Growing up, I loved sunrises and sunsets, and would always marvel in beauty of things, but never really ever wondered where it came from. So I arrived in the United States in 2006 as a freshman at Oklahoma State University. I was friends with a lot of atheists, and we all had one thing in common, that we weren't, Bible bashers that we'd come across on campus. And I was living a dream, I thought, playing golf. I was playing for the Oklahoma State golf team. We were flying in private jets, staying in, living kind of what I thought the high life. Made some really poor decisions and ended up, one point, I was arrested outside a bar in Stillwater, and they gave me a felony and ended up spending a weekend, in jail. I was embarrassed to the point of trying to prove myself to my teammates and to my coaches that I wasn't that type of person. So I would work harder. I started really worshipping my golf. I go home to New Zealand. I was home for 3 weeks over the Christmas break, and I was home, and I was determined to come back to America better and fresh, and for a fresh start back at Oklahoma State. And I trained every single day. I didn't give my family much time or any friends because I was so focused on my training. And the day before I was due to fly back, it was January the 5th in 2008, and my mum said to me, "Honey, you need to go spend some time with your father." So reluctantly, I took a day off, and I drove off with my dad, had this amazing day. And then on the way home, Dad said to me, "Honey, you should get some rest. You've got a big night ahead and you're flying out tomorrow." So he encouraged me to put my seat back in the front seat, and that's the last memory I have for the next 8 months. I was in a head-on car accident with Dad. By the grace of God, I'm alive. I had a traumatic brain injury, and I lost my short-term memory. And what came with that also was my whole left side of my brain was shut down, which is your focus-driven, analytical side. I was learning that the only way to function in the world was, the brain's amazing. Your right brain just automatically opens up, right? It's your emotional, creative side, and was seeing this world in a completely different way that I'd never ever seen nor experienced it. I mean, can you imagine seeing the world for the first time? It's like, you can't describe colours, sounds, and it felt like I was living life in a bird sanctuary. I'd go on these walks, and the noises were just so loud, and the smells, and so it's kind of reawakening senses that I'd been living in such a dark place beforehand, that I just had this new appreciation for life. And what happened in that process was it awoken this awareness of spirituality, of why am I here, what's my purpose. I was walking around a lake, and it was pouring with rain, and I had my headphones in, but I had downloaded Brooke Fraser. She's a musician from New Zealand, a pop musician, who I quickly found out at that point also sings for Hillsong United, and this song called Lead Me to the Cross came on my iPod, and I was listening to the lyrics, and I just thought, pulled it out, what? And I listened to the song more and more, and as I walked along, I just stopped and I just had this moment, and I looked up and I just said, "Really, God? Are you there? Are you real? And because if you are, I have a real hard time believing. You need to show me." And I carried on walking around the lake and on this big dirt path, and it was pouring with rain. Just across the path wrote, "I love you, Sarah." And my first initial thought was, I have the most common name in the world. And then I thought, lucky Sarah, someone loves her. And then I clicked. I thought, oh my gosh, that's my sign. At this point, I was kind of at my wit's end, and I just didn't see the point of living on without him. So I said, if you can help me right here, not if, but please help me right here, and I'm gonna do my best to follow you forever. Prior to this point, I defined myself as I was a golfer. I was Sarah Bradley, the golfer. When you look into the mirror and you go, everything you've defined yourself isn't there anymore. I couldn't play golf. I couldn't remember yesterday, and the doctors told me that I wasn't okay, and I didn't know what was happening tomorrow. It was just this, I was being forced to live here. And so I think a lot of what my recovery was learning that, Sarah Bradley, she's okay as Sarah Bradley, just period. It's been freeing learning that it's nothing that I've done that has earned me his love. It's been quite a beautiful journey. I'm Sarah Bradley, and that's how God reached me.